I mean, you got a dumb show in fucking Indianapolis here where we're able to read around the internet with insiders and everybody's trying to get an edge on their competition. So they're trying to leak information that nobody else has. It's like we're in a time now where if these league meetings can become publicly pressured into being awesome, let's fucking enjoy the hell out of these. Because Jim Irsay starts this whole thing off. Before these meetings even start, before they've even had time to chat, he has his fucking tailored suit on.
Clean.
Some sort of clean sweatpants.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then just some very comfortable shoes.
Great fit.
That is the Jim Irsay at 63 or 62 years old outfit every day. It is awesome. He's in Indy. I think nationally for a long time, people didn't know a lot about Jim Irsay other than all of his demons.
Right.
You've heard all the terrible stories about Jim Irsay. You never heard any good stories about Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay is a fucking hilarious human being. Just his existence is a movie. Obviously, if you're an NFL owner, you probably have seen and done some incredible shit, but his dad was an NFL owner, an NFL owner that's notorious for just being a bit of a wild card. He picked up in the middle of the night and said, I'm fucking out of here. Jim lived through all that, became a general manager whenever he was in the 30s, became a power lifter while he was a general manager in the NFL, friends with like McCartney and Lennon and all these people. He's obviously done his demons and had his demons that he fights, I think, to this day, has grown a family and has grown a team out here in Indianapolis that people expect to be good every single year. No matter what your thoughts were on Jim Irsay, you need to know that Jim Irsay is a hilarious human being. And he is somebody, I think, who has a good heart, has gone through some shit, but I think he has a good heart. You'll see him giving $100 out to literally every human he sees. I think he understands that he's very fortunate. So whenever he goes out and cuts a promo, brother, fucking Snyder's the worst, dude. Brother, we can vote. There's merit. Yeah, fuck yeah, there's merit. We can vote him out of there. Hell yeah. Only need 24. Is there 24? I think so. I think there is, yeah. And then he just walks into the meeting or whatever. Nationally, the first thing to do is like, oh, Jim Irsay is the guy that's doing this. It's like, I think this is a very Jim Irsay trait to do. We've had him on the show. He was sitting on a big fucking throne, and he said in those one per club meetings, when owners are talking to other owners, he said, that's when you really got to say your shit. What are they going to do, pull out a gun and shoot me? He said, no, they're not going to do that. Jim has been in the NFL a long time. He's been an owner in the NFL for a long time. Yeah. And if he feels like Dan Snyder's doing what Dan Snyder has been doing, which is just like fucking, the league has to deal with Dan Snyder's fuck up so much. The league is a rocket ship. The league is going like this, and it seems like there's always just this one cloud kind of hanging over the rocket ship as it's taking off, and it's something that Dan Snyder's done, his building has done, or his fucking stadium has done, or maybe even Dan Snyder Ponzi scheming money away from the other owner. So Jim Irsay finally got to the point where it seems like he's like, yeah, fuck this guy. Let's get him out of. We got the Waltons in here. They can fuck $100 billion. Let's get another one of these fucking owners in here that have a lot of money. This guy stinks. And Jim's going to get dragged by this.
For sure.
By some people.
Yep.
There's some people that are putting him over for it. There's a lot of people digging into his past, which I think is why Jim Irsay doesn't really give a fuck. Jim's like, if this guy's got dirt on people, he can investigate me till the cows come home. Motherfuckers know everything about me. Ask people what their thoughts on me. They're going to say all the terrible things. Snyder, I'm in the same position you are. I just don't run a terrible, toxic building. I just so happen to do some fucking shit that I shouldn't have done when they're, battling demons in the past. So I fucking love it. We'll talk to Ian Rappaport in 10 minutes. This is not normal, though.
No.
This is not what owners have done in the past at all. The thing that you were at yesterday, this, for us, seems abnormal. Jim Irsay cuts a promo before going into the meetings about there being merit to vote Dan Snyder out of the ownership of the NFL. Then he was asked, is there 24 people? And he says, possibly. There is 24 people. So you'd assume that he said, I think there potentially will be. So that means he has at least chatted with some other people. Was he speaking for a group, you think, when he cut this promo in public? Is this normal? And what do you think comes from this, Ian Rappaport?
It was surreal. I mean, it was really surreal. So basically, what happens is all the media is kind of standing there, and an owner walks up, and you say, "Oh, will you talk?" And most don't. And he walked right up to the cameras, and someone asked, honestly, kind of a dumb question first. And once he got into the Snyder stuff, it was a couple of things were very clear. One, he planned to do this. Like, this was his plan. He came out to talk to reporters and said everything he said. And, like, I'm listening, and I'm catching eyes from other reporters, from league officials, from some of his employees who are standing next to him. And everyone's kind of going like this. Like, are you hearing this? It was Like when I said bombshell in my tweet, like that is what it felt like. Like it was real, and I was like, because if Dan Snyder's going to get voted out, which we can get into that, and there's a lot there, and we'll see. But it starts like this. It starts with one owner putting his name on it, saying what probably a lot of other owners need to, think needs to be said, and letting it just stand. And I believe that there are several others who think that. I know there's a lot of people who wish he was not the owner. Getting 24 votes is a little different, but this was pretty real yesterday.
Okay, so it sounds like when Jim Irsay walked in here, he had full plan. Because you guys are at this every single one when they're walking into the meeting. There's always reporters outside asking, "Hey, do you want to talk?"
Every single one.
So,
Yeah.
so Jim's in the car probably over there. He's going, "I'm gonna go talk to them today, brother."
Right away.
He's going, "Oh, I'm gonna do it." And then whoever was with him, it sounds like Pete Ward, president of the
Pete
Colts,
Ward
was
next
there.
to him, yeah.
We don't know if Gorman was there. Maybe Gorman's there or not. We don't know. And he walks right to you guys and he goes, "Excuse me. Let's do a little thing."
Listen up.
Bad question. Then he gets right into it. So this is how long you think Jim Irsay's been sitting on this, and how long do you think owners have been thinking about voting Daniel Snyder out? Because we have brought this up in conversation around other league owner meetings where we're like, hey, they can vote him out. They have, threatened to do that in the past. We have learned of that rule. How long has this been brewing, you think, and how close do you think we are?
It has been brewing for a while. And, I know the fact that 24 owners could vote another owner out has been a rule, but many people did not know it until Roger Goodell answered a question and essentially brought it up and confirmed it at the Super Bowl press conference. So I think when Goodell says it, that basically puts it into the world, and everyone sort of realizes and knows that this is a possibility. There has been some angst and frustration about Dan Snyder among other owners for some time. Not movement to vote him out, just frustration. And Irsay hit on, I think, maybe the most
merit,
sort of interesting and under the radar thing. Owners are pissed off that people think that they're all like that, that they're all like Dan Snyder. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't want the public to think that everyone is like that guy, and I think that motivation might not be like all of it, but probably some of it. It's like if a player gets arrested and does something bad, other players are like, well, we're not all like this guy. Like, there's some of that.
Yeah, I mean, negativity hogs the headlines with everything. And when there's only a select crew of that 31 or whatever owners, you could see how if you're going to bat for one person that is obviously going through it, you could be lumped into that type of picture. And Jim has battled his own demons. I don't think he's ever been scared to talk about that. He's actually creating a foundation to help other stuff. I mean, Jim feels like the right guy to do this type of thing. I'll be eagerly watching like the rest of the world, Commanders fans hoping this takes place as well. When would we know about 24? Would they not be able to vote? When would the next time come?
So the next league meeting is in December in Dallas.
Let's write that down.
That seems
in
fast.
Jerry's world.
December.
Ooh,
December.
the drama. But actually, yes. So that's the next one, and then there's a big one in March. Irsay brought up the possibility of once he says something, everyone's like, "Oh, we have 65 questions about everything you just said." He said March was a possibility. There's many investigations into Dan Snyder. The one from Mary Jo White, which the league is conducting, that really needs to finish and reveal its findings, which are going to be made public. That needs to happen, I think, before any vote would happen. But here's the other thing.
Well, that's what the Commander's spokesperson said via Tom Pelissero. They said once Mr. Irsay sees all of the facts from the investigation that Mary's doing into the Commanders, he will no longer believe the things that are being said publicly in a slanderous fashion, basically, is what the Commanders came out and said after Jim Irsay cut the promo about kicking Dan Snyder out. The Commanders, not Dan Snyder, the Commander's spokesperson said once they see the investigation, they'll realize how far we've come and everything like that. And whatever the case, that's what the Commander said. Dan Snyder, after Jim Irsay said this, wrote a email to every other owner that he typed up himself, not all of his lawyers, which is all the shit that we've seen in the past from Dan Snyder, where basically he just says, like, hey, I won't be an owner, guys. Hope all is well. Good luck to your family. It's pretty much. So there has been reaction and responses, but please go on with what you were saying there about March, it all taking place.
Well, first of all, those were two very separate tones. You had the sort of like political hatchet style attack from the spokesman, and then the letter for a new spokesman that he just hired like a couple weeks ago, and then the letter from Dan Snyder, which is like very conciliatory.
Hey guys.
Hey, other owners, just so you know, I haven't spied on you, stuff like that. And I sort of, I don't know. As I said on TV yesterday, like I don't know which is which. They're both from sort of the same person, so like. I guess
No. One's from the spokesperson. That's
right.
team 3, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Rap Shoes.
Not 3. That's the spokesperson, not the commander. So we're thinking maybe March. Okay.